What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cine Club. As you probably already know, I'm Maria, and this is the show where I watch new movies that have recently come out and I review them for you. And the movie that I just could not miss this week was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I'm just gonna go right ahead and tell you, I'm not even gonna wait for the end. This is the best movie of the summer. I don't even need to see Ninja Turtles. I don't need to see Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a movie you need to watch. Trust me. The movie starts off with a great prologue without having too much narration or just going too much about what happened in the last movie. It's done very elegant and it's very sophisticated, and it just catches you up quickly with the situation. So throughout a period of 8 to 10 years, the virus has spread and it has slowly killed off the human race to the point where possibly humanity just doesn't exist anymore. Meanwhile, the apes have become even smarter. They have built a home for themselves. Caesar is still their leader, and they're a community that loves and respects each other. They're pretty certain the humans have not survived the virus until one day, unexpectedly, they bump into a human in the forest. And both the humans and the apes become aware of each other's existence. And so that's the conflict of deciding whether they should coexist or if they should kill off the opposite race in order to survive. In my opinion, this is what a true sci-fi movie should be like. It just has the essence of what is good about sci-fi movies. It's not about constant lens flares or just so much action sequences. It's not about constant futuristic themes that just make it overwhelming. It's about an alternate universe that is very far and foreign from what you know, clearly, but yet you still feel like it's familiar and you know it, and this movie does that very well. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is for sure much darker and serious than the first one, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The tone is a lot more serious and it's got a slower pace than the first movie. It's actually a lot longer than the first movie. And it's definitely more focused on character development, which just makes it easier for you to be pulled into the story. I believe the movie was written by the same people who wrote Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but the director has changed. Now it's Matt Reeves, and you might know him from movies like Cloverfield. And I think they managed to show a side of Planet of the Apes that you've never really seen before. But they do it so organically, it's so natural, the development and the evolution of these apes. There are so many complex layers to the story that involve trust and fear, power, greed, good and evil, and how it can easily be on either side. It's these layers that make the story so interesting and it just keeps you so involved in it. Caesar is no longer the only ape character that you feel kindred with. They start developing all these other characters around him. Yet Caesar is always the most interesting one, and he's really the one you feel closest with. Caesar has to be one of the most compelling characters I have seen in a very long time. Andy Serkis just plays it so well. It just leaves you astonished. Somebody needs to give Andy Serkis an Oscar for this. I mean, something has to happen with this movie because he just did so well. He totally outdid himself. He's done so many great roles in the past. Everybody knows that. He's Gollum, he's King Kong, he's even Yoda. But he does Caesar so perfectly. It's incredible. I just have no words for it. His performance is incredible. I've already seen the first one, but I just still can't get over how great the effects are in this movie. Because I feel like you see a lot of CGI animals that just look really fake, but you accept it because, well, it's special effects and that's pretty much how it goes. But in this movie, it's just so lifelike. There's no other word for it. It's excellent. I can't get over it. You can see the texture of their fur, their hands, the expression on their faces. It's not just the whole face, it's the eyes, it's the little details. I don't feel like I'm looking at an animal. I feel like I'm looking at a person. You feel much closer with the apes than you do with the humans. Yes, Caesar is the best one, or at least he's my favorite. But in this movie, I'm really glad that they actually developed all the other ape characters. Every single one of them has so much personality. And I like that it's not done in a stereotypical way. They are all very complex and different to each other, and you can always understand the reasons behind the way they act or the decisions that they make. Caesar's friendship with Koba, who you might remember from the first movie, he's one of the apes that was experimented on, and he has like that blind eye and he has a lot of scars. They're very close. I feel like Koba is his right-hand man. Their friendship is so well written. You can completely understand it. You can understand the loyalty that they have for each other, the kind of brotherhood that they share. I think it was one of the most interesting elements of the entire movie. And I'm happy to say that on the human aspect of things, the acting was also just as good. I was a little worried that the human characters might fall short, but I'm very glad it didn't. It felt very well balanced. It felt like they were just as important, even though they're less characters. Their story is just as interesting, and it doesn't feel boring at all. Gary Oldman, even though he's not as much as a protagonist as I thought he would be, was flawless, just as always. And Jason Clarke, who plays Malcolm, like the protagonist human character, I'm not a big fan of Jason Clarke, but I thought he was really good. Speaking about the human aspect, my favorite part about the movie is how well they balance and portray the similarities between the humans and the apes. It's a little bit subtle at first, but as the movie progresses, you become much more aware of it. Because the main thing is that humanity has been pulled down, it's almost on the brink of extinction, and the apes are rising, they're becoming more intelligent, it's their time to take over the planet. But what's really interesting is that even though the apes are rising, now the humans are almost at the same level as them, because the apes are gathering the intelligence and the knowledge to become better and become stronger and grow and take over the planet, whereas the humans are few, they don't have their technology or their tools anymore to survive the way they used to, so they're just kind of at the same level. No one is stronger than the other, and they're both facing the same difficulties, and they both want the same thing, which is to survive. So as the humans have been brought down to the level of the apes that are now on the rise, you start to see all these similarities on either side, and they don't just do it in a very obvious way by just telling you, but they have characters on either side that are very parallel. And I really loved how they handled that, because like I said, it's not just something that gets blatantly thrown at you in the story, it's just shown in little ways all the time. It's my favorite part of the movie. It just brings so much depth to a movie that you maybe think it wouldn't have any because it's a sci-fi movie and it's fun and it's very flashy maybe. It's a movie that actually makes you think. It just shows you how we slowly destroy everything out of fear and out of this need for power and to be in charge. You don't know which side to choose, yet both sides have evil and both sides have good in them. It was very hard for me to pick something about this movie that I didn't like. My only problem with the movie is that the female characters, which are only two of them, seem like very strong characters. They are very important people in the movie, but they're just not written well. They're just not giving enough time to be developed. They are always in the background. They seem to have little chances here and there to show what they're made of, and it's just cut off completely. And it's just kind of blah. It's not really something that's going to kill the movie for you, but I do wish they would have elaborated a bit more on these two characters, because they seem like very strong female characters, or at least they could have been, and it seems like a wasted opportunity. So if I have to review this movie, which is probably going to be very obvious for you now, I would say that this is a movie for the collection. This is a movie I would buy. Like, as soon as it comes out, I would buy this movie, and I don't do that often, if at all. I'm telling you, it is worth seeing as soon as you can. Right now, if you can, go watch Planet of the Apes. Also, Andy Serkis, I think I'm a little bit in love. But guys, that's just my opinion. Tell me, what did you think of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? If by any chance you haven't seen it, and you really should, tell me what has been your favorite movie of the summer so far. But guys, that's everything for this episode of Cine Club. I hope you enjoyed watching this review as much as I enjoyed talking to you about it. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That is always appreciated, or you can share it as well. And if you'd like to see a little bit more of this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I got a movie review every week for you. Don't forget you can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. I'll leave all the links down below and at the end of the video. But guys, that's everything for this time around. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope your week includes going to see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And I will see you on our next movie date. Bye!